Welcome guys to another series. This time it's gonna be JackDReaper here playing the Pink Terran, sadly falling to Blazer 2-1 in that last game, and he's gonna be facing off a guy named bayagster. I love his name already. So it's gonna be Bayag here on the top right, gonna be on the green Zerg. Takto lang, honestly. This is it. This is the Bayagster show, honestly. On the other hand, JackDReaper on his Pink Terran, and interesting enough, both players gonna be on the pink and green once again. What is with pink? Like, why does Jack like pink? I mean, I like pink. Pink is solid, but why does he pick it for Terran? Wonder what the thought process is. On the other hand, Bayagster, the green is perfect for the Zerg, and I'll just leave that to that. Thanks to his name. For now, both players just opening up standard once again. You see some spawning pool being placed up, and as per usual, we have the Zerglings gonna come out as well here for Bayagster. On the other hand, JackDReaper trying to set up the wall. We're gonna have the barracks out into play. Supply depot will be put up as well. The question is, will he bunker up or will he go for the Reaper instead? Gonna build a factory pretty early, so Bayagster has an opportunity to go for the run-in actually, but JackDReaper now spotting the migration of the Zerglings. The SCV will die a noble death to this one Zergling, and honestly, in his last moments, he's like, why didn't I take basic training instead? Why couldn't I be the Marine? And now he's dead. Very, very sad right there. But the second supply deal being put up by JackDReaper at the last moment, exactly what he needed to do. The Zerglings will be in for a rude awakening. Just try to get some hits now onto the supply depots. We do see an SCP just going for the build-in. Oh, huge cluster bomb. Oh, one of the Zerglings get inside thanks to the cluster bomb, and Reaper able to get the kill. That was a little unfortunate there for JackDReaper. But now, speaking of Reaper, it's still be the Reaper here going for the reopening, going for the culling of these Zerglings. Gonna be a mismatch now for these Zerglings if both players can micro these right. And it looks like the Reaper here just getting the free hits on already under effect of the combat drugs. So Bayagster on the retreat has made enough space for him though to go for that second base and have these Queens Banelingness. So it's gonna be a Baneling bust now for Bayagster. Perfect. Exactly what he needs. Once again, we are on 16-bit LE. And we have a Cyclone right now here from JackDReaper to go for some scouting, to go for a few hits as well. And the Cyclone very good on dealing with these Overlords if they come too close. On the other hand, finally the Reaper falls. The Zerglings get the revenge there, and they're gonna go into the fight once again. This time JackDReaper went for the double Reaper opening. Just a little lesson there from his previous opponent. The Zergling though gets eviscerated by those missiles once again. You can see like the Zergling bits here and there maybe. But yeah, so Bayagster just chilling for the time being. Now, honestly, I feel like I can up my specs a little bit if I'm just spectating. And speaking of spectating, the Selnaga there, Selnaga tower there being taken by the Zerg. Just look for a quick little vision, doesn't really see much. He has the Baneling morph ready to go, but in the meantime, JackDReaper in the back, getting this. Going for the cloak, going for the Banshee play, gonna be solid Banshee harass, but this is gonna be a liquid batter instead because these Banelings have so much corrosive acid into them. The moment they burst, they just die into a fiery acidic death. Speaking of their death that's incoming, it's gonna be Bayagster now queuing this up. The Cyclones will spot this out. The Zergling going for the surround to take care of the Cyclone. No real hits, but the Hellions are into play. The supply depot falls, and if JackDReaper loses his tech lab, the cloak will be reset once again. Sadly, Bayagster not really focusing fire onto that. Could have been a last-minute victory. Speaking of last-minute repairs, will they make it? Yes, they do. So the SCV is catching the fire in time. A few more Zerglings gonna come out, but it's the SCP outside. Oh, very dangerous. The supply depot taking a few hits, but the Hellions are in position to roast them up. Bayagster right now doesn't want a doesn't want the balls of the Zerglings just to be roasted right there, so he's gonna go for the retreat. One of the Zerglings is looking for a scout. Speaking of a scout though, it's gonna be JackDReaper now on this Banshee. As Banshee looking for an opportunity to go for some hits. No detection here besides his Spore Crawler. Oh, never mind. So Bayagster already onto it. I believe Bayagster that the moment he spotted out the tech lab building that thing up, he immediately built these Spore Crawlers. Very, very smart there from the Zerg. And now the Banshee just waiting on for new orders. Can't really move into this. The other Banshee there though taking some pot shots now onto these Zerglings. In terms of units, this will be a few Zerglings there. Not really too much honestly in the favor of JackDReaper. Look like the Hellion squad will be a lot more. And this can be really good here for JackDReaper. He can get engaged onto his queen right now. The Hellions now cooking up these Zerglings. The Zerglings so going for the Delta Split. One pack of them gets toasted up, and now the Zerglings trying to back off for the time being. Interesting enough, it's the hatchery outside that's being turned into a lair. Spine Crawler being placed up as well. The Spore Crawler getting a hit there onto the Banshee. So a quick little stutter step now from the Banshee side. They have to get rid of the Spine, however, so the Hellions get free reign to get the shots out. And the lair is gonna be outside here, but not for long. Can easily get toasted up for the time being. And honestly, interesting enough, it's Bayagster expanding to the outside world. He using that expansion point there to allow these Zerglings to get the creep that they need. They get a lot of movement speed, and now the Sand is really, really low. The Banshees though getting a few pot shots here and there. The eggs being toasted as well as the Spore Crawler. But what is Jack gonna be doing in terms of focus fire? A little dangerous perhaps. And the Spore Crawler now gonna walk into the fight. Wants to set up to this Banshee. He wants to save this lair as much as he can. The Banshees have to retreat. The ones doing a lot of damage there onto that structure, and now the Hellions fall. The Queens are in the fight as well, and the lair stays alive with 272 HP and counting. It's trying to heal itself up, and the Banshee's now on a very, very slow retreat. Bayagster though using his Overlord to go for a quick little distraction play. The factory just flying around, and JackDReaper though heavily in the lead so far honestly. In terms of mineral and gas, look at him, almost double of what Bayagster is doing, because Jack on 3 base and Bayagster now getting his third, and the Zerg never wants to be behind in that situation. In terms of units as well, 74 kills of units there, going the way of the Pink Terran. And finally Bayagster getting the economy that he does need to set up. These Banshees though being repaired to go for another fight, and wow, 12 and 10 kills on these Banshees. These ranks on these Banshees pretty freaking high to say the least. Marine squad though gonna be ready for some death and destruction. The creep tumors being put up here by Bayagster as well, so the Queen just pretty much capping them out, and the Zerglings now will have a lot more space to work with. Go for the run bys as well, so meta boost is the only upgrade so far here for Bayagster. He should actually try and tech up instead, and finally he's doing so. He's getting +1 to melee claws and +1 to all armor for ground units. Bayagster and JackDReaper though having this quick little lull period. We have the Banshee hit squad, however the Spore Crawler is in position, but it's gonna get a few hits. Gonna be a cloak in now by the Banshee. It's still a little dangerous now for these 3 Banshees because we have an Overseer into play. The Queens can shoot upwards as well. The drone now gonna go for a quick little chancer so far. Sup Dodge? Hello, welcome to my recording stream. I'm also just doing some recordings as the Zerglings now gonna go on to the downbeat. I'm gonna go for a quick little run by instead. We do see the scan, however, and now JackDReaper taking care of those creep tumors. Doesn't want to deal with those Queens moving really quickly. If you get rid of these creep tumors, these Queens turn into absolute snails. Like if you look at them. If they actually lose the creeps they're on, they're gonna turn into such slow beings. On the other hand, Bayagster is still just trying to set things up. This heavy Banshee comp for now from JackDReaper. Maybe a tech switch could have worked better in his favor. He's working on those upgrades on the infantry units. He has some missile turrets now ready for any Mutalist play. Speaking of play, it's gonna be some drop play there from Jack. Sadly, these Marines get left behind. Apparently, they're not Ohana. They get turned inside out instead by the Queens and the Zerglings. Larva and Jack as well with the carcasses. And for now, this lair rather staying alive for some reason. The Spire gonna be played by Bayagster. He does have a lot of gas. And finally, we see 12 Mutalisks out into production. This is gonna be a very scary ball. In the meantime though, JackDReaper not really too afraid, only has a missile turret on his main and his third. So honestly, the supply depot base right here in dire straits for the time being. Zergling going for a quick little check onto the Selnaga tower, but it's gonna be the Marines getting the kill instead. And now here comes the Mutalisk. Can the Marines actually spot this out? Very dangerous here if bayagster gets countered so quickly. Marines now being queued up once again. And it just looks like the Mutalisks are gonna get free reign for the time being. Let's just follow this quick little exodus as the rest of the Terran army gonna go for the move, and the Banshee's taking care of the creep tumors. And it's gonna be up to bayagster if he's gonna commit on into this, or is he gonna defend with the Mutalisk, as now his queens are under attack. The Banshees though really low, and here comes the swarm to go for the engage. With the missile turret now into play, it's gonna fall, but one of the Mutalisks do die. The SPs have to go for the transfer. In the meantime, in the front line, the Terrans just going for the guns ablazing, getting rid of that bailing nest, and we had the drop play as well, but Spinecrawler able to take that out. The Mutalisks out into the base. We have a number of Marines once again into the fight, but these Mutalisks dying one by one. They have to run off into the sunset. Already 5 have fallen. Not the best way to use a mutable in that sense. And JackDReaper just keeping the position, keeping the pressure outside. He does get supply dock, however, as these Mutalisks are taking care of these supply depots. We have the transfer once again, and now the Marines aiming their guns up, getting some shots out there onto those flying creatures. In the meantime, they're also taking care of those underground creatures. The creep tumors do die one by one, and here comes the medevac army into play. The Zerglings are there though, and we see some banelings in the back as well. So the Zerglings need to go for a quick little tanking, but at the same time move out of the way. The banelings are going to be in position. The siege tank though are there, getting some damage out. The Marines getting chomped up by those lings. Here comes the run in, but now finally the Zerglings getting destroyed by the siege tanks, and the queens out of creep in a lot of danger instead. The Marines now walking on by, laughing a little. We have a creep tumor being put up once again, so these queens can actually fight properly. And here comes another set of Zerglings into the fight. The siege tank though in position, and the Marines in the back of them just tanking up right now. Got to be GG here for bayagster, and JackDReaper taking the win. Solid play there from Jack. Just the pressure, the amount of pressure he applied onto this base, bayagster never really got back into this fight. And we'll be back in just a bit for the next one.